I'm tired of prequels. Ever since George Lucas's Star Wars prequel trilogy from 1999 to 2005, prequel mania has been running wild in Hollywood and the rest of the American entertainment industry. We have been inundated with franchises that want to go back and relive the glory days instead of moving forward. It's as though the entertainment execs thought that the prequel trilogy's success was due to it being a prequel instead of being the first new Star Wars films we'd seen in over a decade and a half. Star Wars' chief rival, Star Trek, has given us nothing but prequels or prequels combined with reboots ever since, from Enterprise to the Crispine Captain Kirk films to Star Trek Discovery. Only now are they finally moving forward with the forthcoming Picard show. The Fox X-Men film series prequeled, and in so doing fouled up their own continuity. The Peter Jackson Tolkienverse also prequeled with the bloated Hobbit trilogy after the success of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. TV shows like Smallville and Gotham can also be thought of as prequels. Even the sitcom Big Bang Theory has recently prequeled itself. Are we done looking behind yet? Isn't it time we looked forward again? There's a problem with prequels, an inherent problem that goes beyond the fact that actors tend to age rather than youthen. It goes beyond the expense of using varying qualities of CGI to make actors appear younger, or the problem of special effects in general aging in reverse chronology when it comes to prequels. You see, back in the old days of DC Comics, many writers and editors thought the worst assignment one could get was the comic book Superboy. Superboy, despite selling well, was not a comic book many pros wanted to work on because there was no way to put the main character in any sort of acceptable danger. For example, an artist would design a comic book cover that showed Superboy in some kind of suspenseful peril, but it was a wasted effort. Why? Because when said issue would hit the stands, it would invariably be sitting right next to two other comic books, one called Superman and the other called Action Comics starring Superman. Superboy, you see, told the stories of Superman when he was a boy. It was a foregone conclusion that Superboy would eventually grow up to become Superman. The prequel nature itself snuffed out any suspense or drama that a creative team could come up with instantly. In a very real sense, Superboy was even more invulnerable than Superman. The reason it sold had nothing to do with the actual story content. It sold because it was part of the Superman family of titles. In 1986, DC Comics eliminated the original version of Superboy when they rebooted their entire comic book universe in the first Crisis on Infinite Earths. Good riddance, some of them said. The inherent problem with prequels is this. When you watch a prequel, you're not watching it to find out what happens like you would be when you were watching any other kind of story. You're watching it most likely to find out how exactly something you already know happened. That is inherently less satisfying to the viewer. Name one prequel that was better than the stories that came before it, or rather after it. I'm betting you can't. If they give you something new, or even just something unexpected, that's often a bad thing when it comes to prequels because it creates discontinuity with the other stories set later in the chronology. Even if technically it doesn't violate continuity, it can often feel like it does because it will not seem familiar to the audience. Prequels are inherently a losing proposition, and I think it's time the entertainment industry gave them a rest and moved things forward. If you'd like to support this channel, there's a link below to my book Captain Steel and Other Stories on Amazon. Thank you for watching.